What's going on, guys? Emotemp is back, and today we're doing the final set review here for the light and dark cards in this set. This one's going to be a little shorter, obviously. There are less cards to pick out, so I did grab all three. We don't always get a third because of the starter deck or something, so I think this was a good time to do a review for it. First off, we're going to start with light, and we have one drop backup Princess Sarah. When Princess Sarah enters the field, name one element. Princess Sarah becomes that element. This effect does not end at the end of the turn. You can tap all forwards of the same element as Princess Sarah you control, gain 1,000 power until the end of the turn. Now, what I like a lot about this card is in my opinion, obviously two things. It might be able to replace our banners, and I'll tell you why. Because it is cheaper, and the effect to be stronger isn't always necessary. It is and it isn't, right? Because the certain decks you'll have to prioritize other things, but being able to threaten a power increase at a different time is also very is very strong, right? And so let's say monocolor decks, whereas monocolor decks aren't as relevant right now, I think, but they're still open to this. This card will help make them ramp up faster, as well as still give them that buff that they need when fighting stuff. So the other thing is just quite the opposite as well too. This deck is a quick one drop that helps facilitate weird off multicolor decks. And so let's say you're waiting for something, this can generate you obviously have those backups in your deck or whatever, but you're not there yet, and you run this to help do that, and then you can always threaten buffing certain things, like I said. So color fixing and multicolor stuff is multicolor decks are growing in this set, and have been for the last previous sets, right? Because we had Moogles a while back, and then now we have Rampier, and then it's just Golbez is coming back all of a sudden too. So all these little things matter, and so you can kind of see the trend following that. And so this is also very, very wonderfully done card by Matsuda, and so very strong. Now the Cloud, it started off as a controversial card, I think, because it was very underwhelming comparative to the Sephiroth we'll talk about in a sec. And actually, the Sephiroth we will talk about more about in a second. We've talked about in the previous card of the weeks. But when Cloud enters the field, you may search for one Category 7 character and add it to your hand. For 3 CP, remove top 7 cards of your deck from the game. Choose a forward, break it. You can only use this ability during your main phase, and only once per turn. And at 5 damage, Cloud gains 2,000 power. So the last two effects aren't that impressive, but the first one is, I think, the most important one, right? Because you're playing a deck that has every piece that is just a giant puzzle, right? And when I mean puzzle, it's not you're trying to solve something, but you're trying to get everything to make work. And so Cloud helps facilitate that a lot faster, because we do only have a few searches for 7 cards right now, and some are specific, Avalanche Operative and stuff like that. But this lets you literally grab forward, back up, and I don't know if we have a monster yet for 7, but if we did, you could grab that as well. And so just a first turn play for this guy isn't bad either. And I'm not saying you're going to be removing the top 7 cards of your deck from the game anytime soon, but the earlier the better, right? Just to get things out of your way. Always get points of damage, but it's going to be, it is a good card to help you get there. So I like it. Aerith, I think, is also very good. When Aerith enters the field, choose up to 2 Category 7 characters in your break zone other than card name Aerith, and add them to your hand. So I think we've talked about this too. Is turn 1, just pitch 2 cards, get them right back, so she's free, and then after that she allows you to protect things with her other abilities. Tap 1, put Aerith into the break zone, select one of the 2 following actions. Choose a Category 7 forward you control, duel it. It gains this forward, cannot be broken at the end of the turn, or choose a Dark Forward and break it. The Dark Forward and break it is going to become more relevant as well, because dark cards always see more play, so that's very good. And in a world where we have Materia or Cosmo in this deck, I can play both. I can play both of these and stuff on the field, and it's very good. It's just value, right? It's not good in the sense where it's a big can't get over it and stuff like that. It's just value, because you're paying effectively for 2 forwards for 2 CP and stuff like that. So very good. Next is going to be the dark cards. And here we have Kadaj, Chaos, and Sephiroth. Chaos first. One drop backup. When Chaos enters the field, choose a forward of cost 5 or more in your break zone. You may pay X if you do so. If its cost is X, play it onto the field. So it's not just a one drop backup, but and for 3 CP, you can tap, remove Chaos from the game. Choose a character your opponent controls, remove it from the game. So that second effect is probably one of its a pretty strong effect for like just 3 CP, well 4 CP I guess, since you're removing Chaos. But Chaos kind of like speeds up on his own for being one drop. There's a lot of cool things about this card. He kind of helps you just like get back into it if you have the CP for it, and also threaten like removal. So very strong. Now we have the Sephiroth, which at first I wasn't too keen on. I know I talked poorly about it when I saw it. I still stand by the principle that it is very trapping early on, but I don't think we build decks bad enough where we find ourselves in those situations. It's a shame that like we can't like use all of them, right? There's no light and dark presence card that lets us play everything, because that would be fun. But yeah, you can only play Sephiroth if either player has received 4 points of damage, which isn't too hard as we see it. And when Sephiroth enters the field, choose a character, break it. Simple, straight to the point. And then Octaslash is still the trap, I think. Choose up to 1 forward. For just an S, obviously, just a copy of Sephiroth. Choose a forward, up to 1 forward, up to 1 backup, and up to 1 monster. Remove them from the game. You can only use this ability if each player has received 5 points of damage. If you're waiting for this, you're doing it wrong. Like, you're not going to build deck to wait till we're both at 5 so I can just start removing stuff, right? Like, don't do that. Even if you happen to... I'm not saying it's not possible, right? Like, there will be a situation when you're playing, possibly at a major event or not, or on Octagon, whatever happens, but you will be in a clutch game at 5 or 6 damage each, and you have 2 Sephiroths in your hand. Or maybe him and you've been able to recur some with, Puma or whatever card. And yeah, you can do this. I'm not saying that effect is not bad. It's just waiting for it, or like building a deck to anticipate it, or like set up scenarios for it, might not be the best choice. Like you're building a deck that puts you in a position that you don't ever want to be in. So I don't know. That's my opinion. I'm sure I know a lot of you love it, but I'm still there. I'm not there yet. And Kadaj, bonkers card. When it came out, I did not know. I cannot know how to deal with this card. When he enters the field, select one of the following 3 actions. Choose a forward, dull it. Choose up to 2 cards from either player's break zone, remove from the game, and choose a forward until the end of the turn against Talents in Power and Brave. At the end of each of your turns, you may remove Kadaj from the game, and if you do so at the end of your opponent's turn, play Kadaj onto the field. So just EX Burst also, just on top of it all. So being able to remove cards from the game early on is just unfair. It's just pretty annoying, really. It's not unfair. It's just the game. But and then having the options, the versatility to do any of these other effects at the end of your opponent's turn, which they cannot, rewind and reset and prepare for, is really difficult, right? Because he resolves at the end phase, and we know as a basic rule of the game is you cannot respond in startup phase and end phase. And so, just removing stuff until he can't. And then being able to dodge abilities by removing himself is just very annoying. He's a troublesome card. Stuff like Chaos, remove, choose a character your opponent controls, remove it from the game, and just be done with it is fine. If you're able to you're gonna need stuff that deals with him, like always now. I was messing with Earth before the set actually dropped, and the starter was out, and just all right, let's time to play 2-drop Earth Fenrir, just get him out of my way. But yeah, he's an annoying card, very strong card. If I had to say, I think both Light and Dark had equally strong presences this set. They both came out with a lot of good cards. So that's it for me in the set review, guys. Coming up, we will have more videos about post Opus 11. So hope you're looking forward to those. Thanks for keeping up, guys. Stay tuned for more videos.